Welcome to AM Best Audio.
Swiss Re recently issued its latest Life and Health Insights, which discusses the importance of pairing behavioral science approaches with drug adoption, as long-term impact hinges not solely on medication, but also on behavior. I'm John Weber for AM Best Audio, and I'm speaking to Natalie Kelly, Head of Life and Health's Global Underwriting and Claims and R&D at Swiss Re. Natalie, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thanks, John. It's great to be here with you.
So, Natalie, what do you see as the key challenges for adopters of GLP-1 medication, such as Ozempic?
John, let me first start with why GLP-1 drugs have been making headlines. The big obvious benefit is that they can really help people achieve significant weight loss, 15% or more, which of course is phenomenal news for people who have tried and struggled to lose weight. Poor metabolic health is the root cause of most non-communicable diseases, and these GLP-1 drugs hold promise to lower the risk of major conditions like type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and even several obesity-linked cancers. But as your question suggests, there are challenges. Firstly, early clinical data is very promising, but it is early and it's only in studies. And the question mark is over how well these results are going to hold up in the real world. And right now, it's too soon to know. Secondly, weight often returns after stopping treatment, up to 2/3 in some of the studies we've seen. So without lifestyle changes to go along with the weight loss, the long-term health benefits might not stick. And so these drugs shouldn't be seen as a silver bullet for sustained weight loss. Thirdly, short-term side effects like nausea are common, and long-term impacts, especially at the higher weight loss doses, still remain unclear. And up to 1/3 of the weight lost could be muscle and bone density, which could affect aging and frailty. And then, of course, finally, what about healthcare access? These drugs are expensive. We know that there have been supply issues around the world. And for these to be really positively affecting population health, we need to see much wider access. And I guess the happy note there is that as some of these patents start to expire in the next few years, this will help to shift the affordability landscape.
So, as you just mentioned, just taking GLP-1 medications is not enough to maintain a healthy weight. What other lifestyle modifications are needed for a sustained outcome?
Well, John, if just losing weight is the goal, then these drugs will do that for sure. But keeping the weight off, that's where the lifestyle changes will be needed. And long-term success is going to depend on holistic habits around diet, exercise, and sleep as well. The nutritional advice, it's the same if you're on the drugs or if you're not. And it comes down simply to eat real, wholesome food and you'll be fine. If you can cut back on ultra-processed foods and refined carbohydrates, you'll improve your insulin sensitivity and your overall metabolic health. On physical activity, we should all really be lifting some weights or at least doing resistance training to build lean muscle mass, which, as I said, is particularly important on GLP-1 drugs as muscle loss can happen. The thing that I see as the biggest challenge today is sustained behavior change. People find it hard to change. They know what they need to do, they intend to do it, but it's actually very hard to stick to it. And without tackling these behavioral barriers, it's easy to fall into the temptation of a silver bullet mindset, relying solely on the medication, and we really want to avoid that.
So let's talk about that then. How can behavioral science help influence behavior and improve health outcomes?
Behavioral science can be a really powerful tool for improving health outcomes, and I can give you 2 examples of this, John. Firstly, let's talk about encouraging people to engage in healthier habits. We've applied behavioral theories in our health and wellness partner, Grow Health, to increase engagement with their program. We found that just by adjusting the invitation email that was sent out to potential customers, achieved a 55% open rate, which is really quite good. And this was the very first step to successfully improving engagement with their health app. Secondly, we put the theory into action again to counter this silver bullet mentality by providing personalized healthcare interventions aimed at people who are already unwell. Here, in this collaboration with our specialist partner, Coombe Grove in the UK, we have developed a customized metabolic health program for policy holders aimed at helping them to make lifestyle changes. And the early results are really promising, and people are engaging with the program. They're seeing improvements in their health, and many of them are now able to get back to work. So for me, these examples demonstrate how behavioral science can help policyholders meet their health goals, and it provides a framework really for us to understand some of those barriers that prevent individuals from taking action.
Fascinating.
Customize your data experience. BestLink now offers an interactive company dashboard that provides company-level intelligence in a fast, user-friendly interface featuring interactive tables, charts, and Sparkline performance histories. Customize the dashboard tiles to prioritize the insurer ratings, data, and analytics that best support your workflow. AM Best. Our insight, your advantage.
Natalie, how has underwriting adapted to a world with widespread GLP-1 medication use?
John, underwriting has to keep up with changing medical trends, and these drugs are certainly no exception. At Swiss Re, we have now updated our underwriting manual, Life Guide, to move beyond one-off weight snapshots. We need to consider a person's history because without real lifestyle changes, the health benefits might not stick, making the risk that much harder to predict and to underwrite. So I just want to be clear here that what we're seeing so far with these drugs is positive, but at the same time, we need to underwrite for the longer term. What will happen when the treatment stops? How much weight will this applicant regain? What will it mean for their health? So underwriting is a one-time decision that locks in ratings and premiums for an applicant, but their health doesn't stand still. And so going forward, underwriters will want to take a balanced view of recent weight loss, GLP-1 use, and an applicant's health history.
Natalie, do you think insurers and reinsurers can leverage behavioral science for smarter underwriting and more accurate risk assessments?
Yeah, John, for sure, we can. To accurately underwrite an applicant's risk, insurers rely on honest disclosure at the underwriting stage, especially on topics that could feel a bit sensitive. And in the GLP-1 era, this need for transparency becomes even more important. Behavioral science can play a big role in bridging the trust gap and encouraging more complete disclosure through low effort and measurable changes. Our behavioral scientists have run over 200 experiments over the past decade to test how the way we ask questions affects the answers that we get. And one of my favorite examples that's really quite simple but very impactful is broadening the option set. And I guess what I mean by this is rather than asking directly if someone is on GLP-1 medications, behavioral science would suggest reframing the question to something like, have you tried any of the following weight management methods? So this approach lets applicants share if they've used and possibly stopped weight loss medications alongside any lifestyle changes. It also helps insurers gather a broader set of data, not just yes or no answers from applicants. We've seen disclosure rates increase by up to 24% simply by broadening the option set when we used this approach a couple of years ago to ask about alcohol consumption. So the technique really does work. And of course, it's important to remember that what works for one group of customers might not work for another. And that's why testing the applications of these techniques properly is key. And we can help with that.
So, Natalie, big question here in helping with that. What role do insurers and reinsurers like Swiss Re have to play here?
I want to come back to what I said at the start, John. At Swiss Re, we see these GLP-1 drugs as a promising tool towards improving metabolic health and reducing the root cause of so many different diseases. We also know it's early days, and I see our role is to bring the data, to ask the questions, and to help the industry get this right for our clients and their policyholders. And there are three main ways that we are currently doing this. Firstly, we continue to research the impact of the latest emerging medical and behavioral science. Secondly, translating this into what does it mean for life and health insurers? What are the challenges? What are the opportunities? And how we might need to change the way we assess and evaluate risk now and in the future. And then thirdly, partnering with our clients to act on these opportunities, building products, propositions, developing programs aimed at preventative health and improving mortality outcomes. Swiss Re has the world's largest mortality exposure on our balance sheet. So we are highly vested in this and interested in how it develops. Fortunately, our goals are aligned with those of the millions of policyholders that we cover. We all want them to live longer, healthier lives. And so that's why we're keeping ourselves at the forefront, why we're paying such close attention to the latest developments in both the medical and the behavioral science. And I believe this is why clients continue to choose to partner with Swiss Re.
So very informative. Natalie, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thanks for having me, John.
That was Natalie Kelly, Head of Life and Health Global Underwriting, Claims, and R&D at Swiss Re. And I'm John Weber for AM Best Audio.
Looking to get the full attention of the insurance industry? We have the platforms that will do just that. Whether it be AM Best TV, AM Best Audio, Best Review Magazine, or Best Day. Find out more by calling AM Best Advertising Sales at 908-439-2200, extension 5399, and have a great day.